How y'all doing out there? This is Easy Work Boxing, baby. About to hit you everywhere but under your feet with this one. Please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. And if you're already subscribed, please hit that notification bell for more of the videos. I got to give a shout out to Money Mayweather. I'm a fan of this man. I've been a fan of him for years. I don't like everything he does, but when it comes to boxing, he is creme de la creme, the best ever in my opinion. And this video, it's called You Will Never See Another Floyd Mayweather Jr. And I'm going to explain why you will never see another Floyd Mayweather Jr. and his greatness and what all he has done in the world of boxing. Now, you cannot give Floyd Mayweather Jr. credit, praise, without giving it to one man. One man, because he would be nothing without this one man. Well, earthly man. God is first, but earthly man. And that is Floyd Mayweather Sr. If it wasn't for Floyd Mayweather Sr., we would not have a Floyd Mayweather Jr. We would not have the skills, the mind frame, the IQ, everything that he holds in boxing if it was not for his father. Now, Floyd grew up in a family of boxers, but his father trained him from out the cradle. You know what I'm saying? Floyd's father is the reason that we got to see this man be undefeated and lead the ring. Not only was it that, it was the pressure of his father, the raising of his father, the way his father brought him up. A lot of people used to say, well, family members, when I watched the documentaries, Floyd was in boot camp. You know, Floyd couldn't play basketball, he couldn't eat candy, things like that. Floyd admitted himself that his father would hit him, would check him, you know, to make him be perfect in the ring and training. And he had him, you know, chopping trees, running with boots and things like that. Now, yes, there are other fathers who are trainers in boxing. Yes, there are. But the reason that Floyd was so great is because the discipline of his father. Now, do I agree with his father hitting him and doing the things that he did to him? No. But look what he created. Look what he created. Boot camp made Floyd Mayweather a millionaire. One of the best boxers, no, the best boxer in my opinion to ever do it. Other fathers are like this. A lot of people criticize Joe Jackson. Do I like what Joe Jackson did? Do I agree with it? No. But he turned his whole family into millionaires. But even though it's a truth behind it, but yet and still, it was he was difficult for them growing up with their fathers, but he turned them, and their fathers saw the world for what it was, and they didn't want their children and to ever have to suffer like that, to ever have to go through life wondering about a next meal, how I'm gonna pay this bill. So I think a lot of people should give Floyd Mayweather Sr. the credit that he deserves. Also, Floyd Mayweather himself gave his father his credit. Now, I know a lot of people seen the situation of him and his father arguing. That comes from Floyd being afraid of his father for them years that he was training. Floyd said himself, I was afraid of my father. And that comes from the discipline of him hitting Floyd, checking Floyd. Floyd couldn't do nothing because he was a little boy. You know what I'm saying? He was a little boy. He know his father know how to fight father and bigger than him. So, yeah, he going to be scared of his father. But that's what created Floyd. The discipline, the anger of which he felt from his father. He loves his father to death. But he didn't like the way his father brought him up. Floyd didn't understand until he was a grown man. He didn't understand until he was a grown man why his father pushed him like that or did him like that. So that night when he was in that ring with Manny Pacquiao, and he said, I love you, man. I thank you. Floyd realized. I'm not saying he realized in that fight, but he realized his father is the reason of him being the caliber of fighter that he is. Also, another reason why Floyd, there will never be another Floyd, along with the fact of the impact of his father, uncles, things of that nature. Poverty. Poverty. You see a lot of boxers get on here and they talk about how poor they was and this and that and other. And we've seen it's some who done lived in real bad conditions overseas, you know, in other countries and things like that. But for an American fighter, what made Floyd great was instead of him going out and acting out like most black men do, Floyd decided to take himself to the gym. Floyd said he would go to the gym every day. But he never told people why he would go to the gym. And in my opinion, Floyd went to the gym every day to forget the life that he was living. Forget that my dad in jail. Forget that my dad got all this pressure on me. Forget that my mom doing drugs. just to forget the stress of life. He stayed in the gym, loved the gym, because that was his way of living from outside of his home. So you will never see another Floyd again, because I don't think another person will ever have that same lifestyle, put in that same situation, mom on drugs, daddy like this like that. And it forced him to go to one place that he felt free. And he went to the gym. And that's where his perfection came in. That's where his craft came in at. That's why, in my opinion, we will never see another Floyd Mayweather Jr. From the discipline of the father, whether you say it's wrong or right, he made him a millionaire. Damn near billionaire from his tactics. The poverty, from living in a one-bedroom house, mom's on drugs. Like I said, the poverty to pushed him into the gym, because at one point Floyd was going to quit boxing, period. Especially after his dad went to jail. He really was out of hand. I didn't even know that he went and stayed with his uncle, and his uncle had sent him back, but he ended up getting back on the road. He went and won Golden Gloves. Now, one thing I want to do, I got to talk about, is this too. People think that Floyd Mayweather was hated when he became Money Mayweather. I believe that. That's not true. I just saw a documentary before I made this video that really showed and opened my eyes on that. He was hated after he beat fighters that they thought he couldn't beat, especially Mexican fighters. See, the persona didn't come to after he solidified himself as #1. You see what I'm saying? That's when the hate came. When Floyd first came out, when we fought Hernandez, Manfredi, Corrales, they praised Floyd. They loved him. Oh, beautiful skills. This boy gonna be the best thing smoking. Even black fighters, even black commentators, they were all on his dick. Floyd this, Floyd that, Floyd that. When they realized that he was too good, see, love turns into hate. And people have to understand that in life. Love ain't no farther from hate. You can switch it. I even did this with Floyd. I didn't know who Floyd was. I watched fighting since I was a kid. 1996, I was 13. Floyd, took off like 3 years later or whatever. I didn't know who he was, anything like that. Floyd just branched out of nowhere. So I'm not a person who, idolize Floyd or nothing like that. I love his skills. You know what I'm saying? I loved his skills so much that it caused me to hate him. Do you see what I'm saying? Not a hate of the person, but a hate of you want to see him lose. So when I understood that, and from me watching this video, and I seen how when he first came out, he praised, he this, he that, and he that. Then when he started beating everybody. And the most important thing, not to be on no racist point, he outshined the top Mexican fighters. The De La Hoyas, the Cesar Chavez Jr., Sr., all them. He outshined them. He made people forget about them. Floyd, even though he hadn't got to that level, he was still known as one of the best boxers out there. And he took the highlight scene away from the Mexican fighters, just like his uncle did. His uncle did the same thing, but Floyd really did it because they kept expecting for these people to just beat him. And they were like, when they couldn't beat him, if you go back and you watch some of the old interviews after the fight, Larry Merchant loved Floyd Mayweather in the beginning. It wasn't until they realized that nobody could beat him, Larry Merchant himself began to hate Floyd Mayweather. And you can tell from the commentary of the interviews after the fights, especially after the Toro Gotti fight.